Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this joint webinar by Securosys and Versasec. The topic of this webinar is PKI, Public Key Infrastructure, in the cloud, and how it helps securing all kinds of sensitive data, information, credentials, and identities. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Axel Hauer, and I am the head of sales and marketing at Securosys. And our speakers today will be Daniel Mothersdale, the head of business development for Northern Europe at Securosys, and Ahmed Roshdi, the business development manager at Versasec. So before I hand over to Daniel, please allow me to say a few words on the housekeeping rules. Please raise questions at any time during the webinar through the Q&A section that you can see here. And we will try to answer all or most of them, presumably time allows, at the end of the session. And this session will be recorded and will be sent via email, as I understand, to the participants after or in the next few days. So I will now hand over to Daniel and wish us all an interesting 45 minutes, I guess it is. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks.
Thank you, Axel, and good morning, everybody. Hello. Firstly, I'd like to start by taking a look at public key infrastructure, PKI, and how it operates in our present environments that mean something to us. And then I'd like to hand the controls over to Ahmed, and he can take us through more into the credential management side of what we're talking about today. We often hear about the terms PKI and encryption, but how do we use them in today's business world? And more importantly, why should you be using it? So let me take you simply through what it is and how it works. In its simplest form, let me introduce you to our old friends, Alice and Bob, who want to send a secret message to each other. The problem that has occurred for centuries was how to pass this information from each other without it being intercepted or eavesdropped. If it's not somehow secured, it can be intercepted and read. So a solution could be that Bob and Alice could possibly put the message into a secret box with a padlock, and they could each have identical keys that they make copies of to unlock the padlocks. They could exchange them when they meet each other for coffee every month. So they could use a courier to exchange the keys, or they could pass them over to each other, as I say, when they've met for coffees. Not really secure and pretty time consuming, certainly not practical, and also has some financial issues. So in 1974, a couple of famous geeks, Diffie and Hellman, created a solution. It used the principle that I've just discussed by using a box with a padlock and a key. In terms of encryption, Alice uses her private key to encrypt the message and send it to Bob. Bob encrypts it again, but with his private key, and returns it to Alice. Alice now receives the double encrypted message, removes her own encryption, her padlock, and returns it to Bob. Bob then can remove his encryption and read the message. Now, the implications of this were enormous. It demonstrated that a message can be securely exchanged between two people without physically having to meet or exchange the keys. A message that gets typed in plain text goes through some clever mathematics and becomes encrypted and therefore difficult to break. So it seems the problem of key distribution might have been solved because the double encryption scheme required no key distribution at all. But there was a fundamental obstacle. The problem is in which order encryption and decryption is performed. The rule of encryption is simple: last on, first off. Think of it like putting your shoes and socks on. The order is important and can't be reversed. You can't take your socks off without taking your shoes off first. So, with the use of some very highly complex mathematics, our famous pair Diffie and Hellman found a solution using Alice's and Bob's private keys, but introducing a public key. And this is how public key infrastructure, PKI, was formed. PKI uses two different crypto keys, a private key and a public key, to send secure messages. You and I, or in this case, Alice and Bob, we all have our own private keys, or secret keys. Some other entity also has a public key that is secret for Bob. Here's how it works. Bob creates two keys, one that he keeps secret and one that he makes public. Alice, or in fact anybody, can use Bob's public key to encrypt a message and then send it to him. But only Bob, with his secret key, can decrypt it. Now, I've obviously simplified this in my example, but we, in today's world, we have to store and send confidential material all the time. And we have to trust that it is safe and secure and can't be accessed by anyone who is not authorized to use it. So the important word here is trust. And today we have a trusted source, and it's known as a certificate authority, a CA. CAs own the policies and procedures and are responsible for issuing the certificates and generating and managing our keys. And they do this by creating digital certificates. Let's think of it as the equivalent of a passport or a driving license. It has information about who you are. It states how long it can last for. It's issued by a trusted source, and it has some code that provides the authenticity of the certificate. So I'm sharing with you some information about me, but I don't trust you enough to share all my details, and only the DVLA keeps these secret for me. And of course, I trust them. Though there are many CA providers, especially in PKI-based solutions, we and also Versasec integrate with leading CA providers in the marketplace. However, what is absolutely essential is that the CAs store and protect their private keys in a very safe place. So today, PKI governs encryption keys through the issuing and management of PKI certificates. It's the foundation that allows us to have this word trust in using encryption to protect our systems and applications. And today we use it in such things as TLS certificates on our websites, in database encryption, digital signing, in blockchain and cryptocurrency, in email encryption, and of course, in IoT devices.
So, Daniel, is it right to say that PKI authentication provides verifiable security by complying with various security regulations in the market? By offering and providing users with a strong level of trust in the industry. In other words, the security devices being used allows for multi-factor authentication using cryptographic secured hardware, and they are proven to be the high secure authentication and are easily integrated into the customer ecosystems.
Yes, spot on, Ahmed. That is absolutely right. All of those enable organizations to use applications and computers easy. and it ensures that their data is secured and also compliant with security regulations around the world. So crucial to all of this is how we protect our keys. Business transactions rely on security and therefore trust. And to gain trust, we use encryption, and to its highest standards. Therefore, keys are of the utmost importance to be kept safe and secure. If you lose your keys and I get them, I can sign for you, I can impersonate you, I'll spend your money, and I can read and modify your information that you think is safe. So the best place to keep and secure your keys is in a physical device called an HSM. So what's an HSM? A hardware security module is a certified and trusted device. It's designed to generate, manage, and protect your crypto keys. Think of it as a digital safe that cannot be cracked. HSMs are designed to be secure and resilient to malicious attacks and also from human error. They exist in many different forms, but the most common variant today is in the network devices you can see here on the screen. HSMs are seen as a basis of trust because we can protect cryptographic data used by many organizations around the world. So data such as your customer details are safe and secure. Data such as your employees' information and your bank account details and their pension details are all kept safe and secure. Data such as your latest development plans are kept safe and secure from your competitors' prying eyes. Please don't just create files that have a password and then store them on your server and then think that that's safe and secure. It's not. And you are not creating a trusted environment for your employees or for your customers or for your future plans. Today, hundreds of organizations are using our HSMs, and our customers are asking for even more complementary services. And they want to move their data into the PKI and their PKI into the cloud, and for it to be securely managed. There's also financial benefit here. So let me provide you with a brief overview of our cloud's HSM. We provide trust by securing your cryptographic keys in our HSMs. And it's the same HSMs that we use in the cloud, a managed service of HSMs. Cloud's HSM is our HSM as a service, providing a trusted separation of duties. Our HSM as a service is active through data centers in Switzerland, Germany, the US, and Asia. Now, security, again, is essential when using the cloud, and therefore our HSMs are fully certified to the highest standards. And for redundancy and availability purposes, the HSMs are deployed in clusters, and this keeps your data up to date in multiple HSMs. It's simple. It's got massive benefits. The service is ready to use and requires no setup or hardware evaluation. This means you don't waste time configuring the system, as it's ready to use within hours. Our experts operate the equipment and keep the systems and security up to date. Therefore, you don't need to use your valuable resources or time on such things as installation or maintenance. Clearly gives you more time for your own core business. So that gives you the ability, and more importantly, provides trust for using PKI in the cloud in a secure and simple manner. And therefore you can trust that your keys are secure.
I think, Daniel, it's a great time to mention as well that our Versasec credential management system comes in a cloud-based software as a service offering.
Yeah.
It can integrate as well with your own HSM cloud offerings, which results in a more reliable PKI credential management cloud offering, and with a huge financial saving indeed.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I know you're going to be covering in a few minutes about all of that and the CMS cloud offering. So yeah, absolutely, 100%. Now, look, we've looked at the way of building a PKI solution in the cloud. Let's take this further still. We jointly work together with Versasec to provide a credential management solution. This eases the management and the automation of what we've been talking about, the PKI solution, built on certificate authority. So let me now hand over to Ahmed to tell us more about managing digital identities. Over to you, Ahmed.
Thank you for this great introduction, Daniel. Hi, everyone, and thanks for the great introduction on the PKI solution and Securosys HSM offering. In Versasec, our flagship product credential management system, which we call it CMS, is used by organizations so far of all sizes to fulfill their ever-evolving cybersecurity authentication strategies and business requirements. Versasec provides the necessary credential orchestration to automate and manage the multiple PKI software hardware components for identity and access management systems. By providing organization a hub for their IAM solution providers, certificate authorities, user directories, HSMs, credentials, and more. With Versasec CMS, organizations have the ability to use one device, whether it's a smart card, tokens, virtual smart cards, for many different use cases. Windows logging is considered the most common, but there are also other examples for other use cases for PKI, such as secure remote access, VPN encryption, email signature, digital signature, website authentication, and file encryption. Versasec CMS enables the management of device authentication lifecycle, such as smart cards, tokens, or virtual smart cards, as I previously said, through the whole lifecycle of the device, and we ensure that the user credentials are always in the right state in accordance with the internal organization security policy. One of the most famous examples of certificate-based authentication is banking ATM cards, such as Visa, MasterCards, which you might be using on a daily basis. In order to manage those cards' life cycle for mass quantities, you need a CMS system that can issue, register, revoke, delete, or retire the cards when necessary as a business case requirement. ATM, while it's a very good example for physical smart cards, other use examples in the IT industry could be more relevant. Other use cases I'm having with me today is an example for a new employee who's just being onboarded by his IT security department, and the checklist might look like the following. Security departments enable access and personalize a smart card for the new employee. They print the card with a photo, include a PKI part of the card on the chipset, apply the certificate, create a PIN policy, assign a PIN code, and maybe encode an RFID key for physical access requirement, and establish access according to the Active Directory policies. The new employee now is able to use his card day by day. Employee might, for some reason, block his card or forgets his PIN. The employee will have the opportunity to use a user self-service portal or through an operator or admin, or remotely through a help desk in order to reactivate his card or change his PIN access. After a couple of years, the certificate might expire, the employee might leave the company, change management may occur, or maybe need a different escalation in privilege management. In this way, we need to have a way to reissue that certificate using a user self-service or an operator. Maybe after sometimes employee leaves a company and HR or security department would have to ensure that the current credentials are being blocked or revoked. Versasec is the heartbeat that automates and orchestrates the communication and management of many of the PKI solution software hardware components. For example, we integrate with Securosys, on-premises and cloud-based HSM for CMS master key storages. Also, we integrate with many lead printer providers such as HID, Matica, Entrust card printers for card printing. PKI and FIDO authentication is part of our solution as well. We can integrate with lead identity providers such as Okta and Glue for FIDO authentication for mass public sector. We are proud to support the leaders of certificate authority in the market today, such as Microsoft, Entrust, Verizon, DigiCert, GlobalSign, PrimeKey, whether on-premises or on cloud, as per the customer-specific requirements indeed. Also, our offering manages operator consoles for card issuance and management, whether locally or remotely. And last but not least, we have a very wide integration with lead credential providers for smart cards, tokens, or virtual smart cards. So far, we were successfully to integrate with more than 60 plus types of credential providers, and we are continuing to expand on this list. Versasec CMS is available in 2 suite flavors. One of them is the on-premises, the other one is a software as a service, which is hosted on a cloud. Or the customer have the willing to build his own private cloud, and accordingly we are compliant to host the same in his private cloud. Versasec Cloud is our credential management software in a cloud offering. Versasec will manage server hosting and upgrades for customers of all sizes, minimizing their capital expenses and OPEX expenses. Also to mention that our CMS Cloud integrates as well with Azure Active Directory, creating a complete hosted PKI solution in a cloud offering. Versasec CMS has a very unique capabilities to offer to organization to deploy FIDO plus PKI authentication platforms. Utilizing both technologies will assure customers no gaps left in security perimeters. Mobile and cloud-based authentication is made much simpler for users with FIDO to passwordless authentication. IoT devices, emails, and documents can be verified with the PKI component. This joint solution can be deployed and managed under Versasec CMS, integrating with your top PKIs in the market and integration with lead identity providers. This enables businesses to take the complexity and stress out of managing these credentials and integrations. Versasec CMS empowers organizations to have the ability to manage PKI and FIDO devices through Glue identity providers, which brings simplicity to control the complex requirements and policy control under a unified approach. We ensure that the right credential end up with the right people. Lifecycle events are auditable, and users with active FIDO credentials are visible. Usage of FIDO credentials is controlled, administered through a single point pane of class to revoke, replace, and set policies for end-user FIDO credentials. To sum it up, our key differentiator advantages as Versasec comes into fast implementation. We make setup and configuration achieved in hours rather in weeks and months. Intuitive's user interface. We use a user self-service application which can be used by end user without requiring help desk interventions. Most number of integrated devices integrate with all leaders in the market for PKI devices, smart cards or tokens. High security level, hardware security out of the box. Scalable. The product grows with your business and offers smooth transition. Our solution is extremely cost-effective, no hidden costs. We also offer among the lowest total cost of ownership for a solution that is this comprehensive. We also integrate with multiple ecosystems. Not only do we integrate with the leaders of PKI tokens and HSM providers, but we also integrate with HR systems, card printers. Our solution is customizable and extendable. It offers powerful open SDK and APIs that are not only used by third-party integrators, but also by Versasec professional service team. We have a very easy migration plans for your existing credential management system into ours. Our open APIs and custom development team are always willing to offer a specific custom development professional services if the customer have a very special business case that needs customization. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time today, and I'm gonna hit it back to you, Axel.
Yes, thanks. Thanks, gentlemen, both Daniel and Ahmed. It was a very interesting session so far. At the end, we have a few questions that our audience asked. I think interesting questions indeed. The first question is aiming at both of you, and it is about, I'll read it to you. Can I use both solutions / products, Securosys and Versasec credential management, also for small organizations? And I think that is a good question in relation to our solutions now being offered, hosted in the cloud as a service. I don't know who of you wants to answer first.
All right, you hit it up, Daniel.
Yeah, we can. And it doesn't matter the size of your organization. And especially with what we've been talking about today, operating all of these in the clouds, it makes economic sense. Rather than having an HSM or hardware or software that you're owning on premises, if you want to do this over and pay a subscription model, it's economically more sense, and also is available for any size of organization. So the answer is yes.
Absolutely.
Meaning
The
like,
fact,
yeah, okay. Meaning like you can also, you don't have to buy a whole HSM or take one on board as a service, but have a bit of it as a partition.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the mechanism of using our data centers around the world, you could have multiple HSMs, but you don't have to own the whole HSM. You can use part of it, a partition, as Axel's just said. And that then gives you more economical viability to use parts of HSMs. And also they can be redundant. So they can be in multiple data centers around the world. And you can have your data secured in multiple partitions in different HSMs. So your data is even more secure.
Absolutely, Daniel. The fact is that we have been seeing a huge rise in small to medium businesses adopting sophisticated multi-factor authentication during the past couple of years. Nearly 50% of our Middle East, Africa customers now are rising actually in this specific sector, small to medium business, calling it maybe from 100 to 500 users. Our Versasec management system, CMS, allows you to start from 50 user licenses, and we have been seeing a huge demand rising up as new small to medium businesses seeing and focusing on how to adopt the latest security trends to ensure that they are compliant to their company policies.
I think from my own experience, Ahmed, I saw that while implementing a CMS on site always used to be a heavy and big thing and time consuming, I think when it was first offered as a cloud service, this went down dramatically. And so it's like democratization. So it's more democratic. Everyone can have one, right? So
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
The adoption of a cloud-based solution for small to medium businesses is going in rise as well at the same time, Axel, which is giving more opportunity for small to medium businesses not to go through the hustle of capex investment to host the same on their own premises. Now there is a huge move going to the cloud, and as well. Country regulations as well as being enforced today in the Middle East, Africa region, this demand is actually accelerating.
Yes.
So we should be seeing a huge growth in the small to medium business adoption of the multi-factor authentication technology.
Okay, here's another question from someone which is aiming at Versasec specifically, but I would like to hijack this and extend it to both companies, to both of us. So the question actually is, where can I find more information about Versasec CMS, and if available, trial sessions or demos?
Absolutely. So it's so simple. Versasec.com will lead you to a huge documentation platform, many information related to integration, support document. And as well, we are offering a free trial version, which allows end customers to stimulate, do a demo, do pilot testing for the specific business case requirement prior to real purchasing the solution. And I guess the same goes for Securosys. What do you think?
Absolutely does, yes. So we have a very similar offering. You can find all the information on securosys.com, but we also provide, very similar to Versasec, we provide an area in the cloud that enables you to test your HSM areas that you want to use, such as PKI. And you're given an area that you can test your development precisely for you in the cloud.
Exactly.
So together we can offer a complete evaluation platform for end users to test their PKI requirements and management.
What more do you want?
I think we have two more questions because I think we're running out of time. But
Yes.
The first one is there a way to manage the HSMs, or do they require a Securosys person on site? I mean, I think that this was already answered in your part of the presentation, Daniel, but maybe you can say something about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, today we are seeing more and more people wanting to not have the responsibility of managing HSMs. And in certain cases, they might not even have the ability within their organization to do that. But at the same time, things that we've been discussing like partitions and the way of operating these can also be shared. So we can share that with you. We can look after the security and the maintenance, but also we have a thing called a Decanus terminal, and that allows you to have some responsibility of how you operate your HSM in the cloud as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another question is, how does CMS help to secure a corporate network when, for example, many employees are working remotely or have a hybrid workplace?
Well, exactly. That's a very good question, because in fact, this is exactly one of our main advantages at Versasec CMS solution. Our solution is not only locally for local workforces. It can scatter to remote workforces using RSDM feature. It allows remote users to feel as if they are sitting on the premises. They can manage their multi-factor authentication a user self-service client that can be installed in their machines and connects them directly to the main server. So we don't only support for local, we support local and remote workforce. And with this adoption of workforce transformation in a hybrid workplace, we have been adapting to that, and it was taken in mind in our software development team since day one, so that feature be ready.
Okay, thank you very much, Ahmed.
Thank you.
So I'm now closing this webinar here. If you want to revisit or share it with colleagues or anything, we will publish the webinar, and you can always come back to us, to Ahmed or Daniel or myself. If you need additional information, if you want to have a trial demo or anything else, we're here to help. So thanks again, not only to you, the presenters, but also to our audience, and hope to see you around next time. Have a good day. Take care.